Welcome to Paranormal Supernatural Activity Radio. I'm your host, James. Today I'm going to talk about the plagues of Egypt. Now, this is going to be like a quick one. I'll probably be going into like a 10-parter later on in the future when I get more information. But there's a popular theory on that each plague was for each god. Like, for example, the Nile turned into blood was for Apis, Isis, and the frogs Hecate, gnats Set. And one thing I find interesting on that one is, well, actually a good portion of them, the Egyptian magicians tried to copy a lot of different plagues. I assume to either discredit God or say that somehow that they could do the same thing or what have you. But now there are many other plagues, but one later on, the last plague is the death of the firstborn of livestock, people. A lot of people believe it's that an angel of death, but it was actually God that went through the land checking the doorposts for the lamb's blood. But one thing I'm curious about is since Moses was at one time a prince and all that in Egypt, before he killed the man and wandered the desert for a while, I wonder if he was familiar with the magicians, were used to what they could do and whatnot, or was he surprised when after he started following God and magicians were doing a lot of the same miracles or what have you. But many of the people that were there were Hebrews from were there for the last 400, I want to say 400 years. Pretty sure that was that. But going back to the first plague, the Nile was basically the life source for most of the people there, agriculture and whatnot. Some say it was like an algae that in mass quantities would turn what the Nile into what looked like blood, but it was actually, like I said, the algae. And that was like the first domino that knocked over the others. But some of the Egyptian gods had like animal heads and human bodies. Some did look like humans, full-blown humans, which I'll probably do an episode on the Egyptian gods and the mythology of Egyptian belief system. But anyway, I'm sorry for the long pauses, but I'm just kind of like going through my notes right now and just seeing what I could add to this episode. But let's see. But yeah, I might do a episode on the Passover festival, which, like I said, is connected to the last plague, the death of the firstborn. honestly, to me, there's like so much things to look up for Egyptian mythology, and I've heard a lot of ministers say that after Moses killed the slave, or not the slave, but the slave master, or whoever it was, that he wandered for 40 years in the desert, came back, saw the burning bush, and then he led the Hebrews in the desert for another 40 years. That'll be a trip to be in the desert for 80 years just to walk around in the desert. And I can imagine, like, being here in Arizona, that it's hot, miserable, and all that during the summer. So, plus the Hebrews were complaining and whining through the whole time. So I'm pretty sure that also didn't make things that too great either. But I just want to say thank you for listening to this podcast. This is not all I'm going to be talking about on this subject. I'm going to probably, like I said, do a 10-part series on the 10 plagues of Egypt and go further into what the Egyptians believed and other things like conspiracies and whatnot regarding Egypt and the other Eastern religions and whatnot, and how they tie to the Bible. Probably going to also share a lot on what I believe in the Bible, my faith in Jesus Christ and God, what led to me believing in God, what I've studied so far and what I'm probably going to continue to study. But if you want to give me any ideas, your criticism, what you thought, whatnot, you can email me at parasuperradio@gmail.com. That is PARASUPERRADIO@gmail. You could also go to PayPal if you want to donate. You please subscribe. Find me on Facebook, X, now or formerly known as Twitter. I'm all over the place on social media. And thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.